inside of you.
Hi guys, it's Elena and I'm enchanted to have you be here on my channel. Hello and welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. If you're new, consider liking, subscribing, becoming part of my little YouTube family. And if you've been here before, hello and welcome back to each and every wonderful individual sitting across the screen. Lots of love, lots of cyber hugs, and hopefully you and yours are safe. So I decided to kind of start off my next Plan With Me's videos in a more ritual-ish type of form or more magical form. I really like the way I started my planner for 2021 with some candle magic, so I'm continuing on with more candle magic this time around. Instead of doing some herbs, I did some sigil carvings and things like that. So a little bit of sigil carving candle magic for this month. And I get to put in the last picture for 2020 in this video, and I'm super excited. It was the most memorable kind of moment for me, and it was the first launch of my subscription boxes, which was yay, super exciting. So I get to put in that picture, and now I am fully and completely done and over with 2020. Phew! Sorry for the delay of this video. It should have been up about 2 weeks ago, but life gets interesting moments, and I had to work on a lot of paperwork for my next school semester. So other than that, let's just continue on with the January Plan With Me. Yay! And I get to use my new bullet journal, which is super exciting. And I was able to try something new. So I purchased my very first professional quality set of watercolor brushes and watercolor paints. Now, this is literally the most I've ever spent on 2 items of art supplies, and I never would have done it if I didn't get my first YouTube ad revenue paycheck. So I'd like to think of this paint set as kind of a gift from you guys for me, and I am super excited to try it out. It was not as the same texture as I expected. I had to switch things up a little bit, but that's okay. It'll be a learning curve. These watercolors are very fancy. In a simple way of putting it, they were all each individually wrapped in their own little packets with their own little I've never experienced something like this in my life, and it's pretty cool that I was able to try something out like that. So I know they're not like super top quality, there's way better than these out there, but for a DIYer such as myself, this was very exciting. And I want to say thank you to all of you wonderful people watching and supporting me, and well, being there with me on this little YouTube journey, I suppose. So I was first testing out these paints. I wanted to do a couple swatches. I think the issue of my swatches was that I did it on a different type of paper than my bullet journal paper. So it's different textures and slightly different colors, and this paint behaves a lot differently than any other paint I have encountered or experienced with yet. So I tried to kind of redo it, remake it, and tried to originally just paint it onto my bullet journal spread, but it did not work out that well. I improvised. I think it came out okay for my first time using these type of paints, but I don't know. You be the judge of that. I had a vision to do kind of Lily of the Valley flowers for January, but I wanted to have more neutral tones and like slightly pink colors, more beiges, kind of do that type of color palette. And I feel like if I did Lily of the Valley, it would be very white and green. So I decided to go with this random picture I found on Google of like white flowers sort of thing. So this is the part where I had to improvise. It was not working out in my bullet journal at all. So I decided to take some actual watercolor paper and kind of try painting it on that. Again, it's the first time I've ever used these types of paints, and they definitely behave a lot different than any other paints that I've used. Another learning curve, but it was very fun to try and experiment with them. These flowers came out a lot messier than I started off intending them to be. Again, new paints, new type of behavior of these paints. And watercolors are supposed to be kind of messy and a little bit all over the place, right? I mean, that's kind of what I'm using that excuse for. From a distance, it's looking decent and okay, and you can see that it's kind of like a flower cluster type of thing, but if you look too closely, the details are not that great. So ignore any sort of close-ups that I did and just appreciate the way it looks from a distance. I feel like the best part of this painting were the leaves that I painted in. The rest is kind of like, okay. I hope you and yours are having a wonderful start to this new year, even though we're kind of almost halfway through the first month. To me, it's crazy how quickly time goes by. Maybe it's just I've been super busy with everything and every day is kind of like planned out down to the minute, but I feel like time is definitely picking up, and I hope that as it keeps going further, things are going to be looking up and improving, and hopefully everything gets better. At least that's sort of my aspiration for this year. I'm tapping my paintbrush a little bit just so I can get kind of like splashes and splotches for the background, so it's not just a completely clear white background. I think it came out okay. The biggest issue is the main event of these flowers is the flower itself, but I will redeem myself next month, I promise. I saved that washi tape that I used so I can use it throughout my planner later. I just like the way that pink looked with the pink flowers, or like the beigey pink flowers, and that way I don't have to throw them out because I like to reuse as much of my stuff as possible. And then I decided to give the painting a little bit more character. I tore off the edges just to give it that scrapbooky effect. And I finally have the start of my January booklet, and I get to cover up those atrocious flowers that I started off with. So I have learned my lesson. Next time, before I start to paint anything in my journal or anywhere kind of mildly more important than regular watercolor paper, I will work with those art supplies before I do the video. That way there's less chance of a mistake. So, lesson learned. And then I reuse some of that washi tape to kind of help hold the edges down, and at the same time just give it a little bit more personality. Alright, so here is that. I didn't want to ruin the painting any further by handwriting in the word January, so I used a sticker instead. At the top, I just put a month at a glance so I can see kind of how the days align and how many days are there. And the bottom is kind of a row column layout of any sort of events that I need to be mindful of. Alright, then my camera died on me and I didn't realize it until I was almost done with the spread, but I used a very large sticker in the center of it. Towards the left I used more of that washi tape, and to the right I used more of that brown scrap paper. And if you see my hands freaking out, it's because I made a giant mistake in labeling the months for that first habits tracker spread. So I used my Sakura jelly roll to kind of erase it a little bit, and then I'm going to put a sticker over it because stickers kind of fix everything. So there it is, putting in the dates for my habits. I'm only tracking 5 this time around, and we shall see how things go. On the right side is a spread that I have done fairly consistently throughout most of my bullet journal spreads. Is a spot for me to be thankful of, and I just absolutely love having a specific page that I write down something I'm thankful for each day. And it's wonderful to turn back to it and just kind of read through how my month went, you know, just so I don't focus on the stressful moments mostly. The next spread I'm doing is a layout for any rituals or spell work that I have planned for the month. I have 6 main rituals that I'm going to be doing for the month of January, and I just kind of want to give myself space in my bullet journal. That way I don't have to write things on sticky notes and in other various places, and I kind of have like a one-stop go-to place to plan out any sort of magical workings that I am going to do for the month. And it's a very, very simple spread, just outlines of the 6 different rituals, and gave myself plenty of room to write down any supplies lists I need or anything extra that I need to prepare for it. And then I just wrote in the dates so I know when that ritual is going to happen. I like doing this at the beginning of the month spread. This is, I think, the second time just throughout all my bullet journals that I'm doing a specific spot for rituals, and I want to continue doing that. I feel like it's a little bit easier to keep track of them, and since it's right at the beginning of the month, I can already sort of prepare or pre-plan, or at least just have the date in mind of something that I want to do and work on. Alright, so first week of January spread. Woo! I didn't want to do anything too crazy and too artsy. I think these spreads are going to be slightly on the more minimal side, but I did enjoy putting them together and I think they came out fairly nice. So keep an eye out and let me know which spread is your favorite. This will be my second year of fully doing a bullet journal for the year. The previous year I started off with the Happy Planner, and for the rest of the months I did a bullet journal, and then the year before that I did mainly the Happy Planner and a little bit of bullet journal, so I was kind of going back and forth with the two. And I believe for this year I'm going to do it fully with my bullet journal, and I'm super excited to see how it comes out. Now, if you haven't seen my 2021 bullet journal spreads or plans or layouts, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to have 2 bullet journals for the year, and each of them are going to be 6 months long. That way I don't have to worry about running out of pages or running out of room, and I get to keep an eye out for more pretty notebooks of starting it off in June. June is going to be the next bullet journal. So if you have any suggestions for really pretty and cute bullet journals, let me know down in the comments. I know Archer and Olive is like a top one, but they're kind of pricey, and I get this journal at Amazon and it's usually around anywhere between like $10 and $12. And I love the quality of the pages. So if you have a good valued bullet journal that's cute, let me know. Otherwise, I think I'm just gonna stick with this little simple guy and then emboss the cover myself. So for this week, I wanted to try something new, and instead of using the actual bullet journal paper for the weeks, I cut up this leftover wrapping paper that I use for my Etsy shipping stuff, and I wanted to give it a try just to give it a little bit more, I don't know, something else interesting rather than the plain spread. And right now I'm on that week, and I kind of miss the bullet points or kind of the bullet dot grid layout, and I feel like my writing is super sloppy in those little paper thingies. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing it again for next month, but I think it came out kind of okay aesthetically, especially after I covered it in stickers. But otherwise, I don't know. If you don't have super neat handwriting and you need kind of guidance from the dot grid like I do, maybe I wouldn't recommend doing a spread like that. But, you know, to each their own. It's worth a try anyways. Alright, after I spent way too long covering it in pretty triangle stickers, I wrote in the days of the week and just outlined some of the triangles in a pink marker just to give it a little bit of that pinkness that I have going on throughout the spreads. On to the next week. This one I decided to try and play with those watercolors yet again. I love how sheer you can make these colors. The other watercolors that I worked with, you really needed a lot of water on the brush in order to give them sheerness, but these watercolors hold their pigment well without the need for water, so it's sheer and not too watery, which kind of worked out quite well. And then I did kind of like simple green vines, and instead of doing green leaves, I went over and did some gold leaves, just kind of dabbing my brush on there, and it was fun. A little bit time consuming and tedious, but I like the sparkle that gold paint gave, and I think it's pretty cute. Again, the painting definitely looks better from a distance. I think I've mentioned it before in a previous Plan With Me video of how I find it so satisfying watching others do bullet journals and kind of do like a repetitive task that fills up the page. Either it's writing in the dates for the calendar or watching myself do the leaves on this little vine. I just think it's so, I don't know, satisfying, pleasant to watch, soothing almost, that the page just like slowly fills up with some sort of like decoration, that type of thing. And for the days of the week, I went over that kind of green, I watered it down a little bit, and because I still had some of that gold in the paintbrush fibers, it made that green a little bit sparkly, which just kind of put the cherry on top for the spread. I think this spread might be my favorite for this month. I don't know. What do you think? All right, on to the last week. And this week I wanted to do something a little bit kind of different, maybe, I'm not sure. I wanted to do it like super vintagey. I found that sticker amongst my giant book of stickers, which is one of the best stationery purchases I've done in a while. And then I kind of did the days of the week loosely and without it being like fully structured. So I don't normally do that in my bullet journals. It kind of like bothers me that I don't have a clear outline, but I always do it on occasion and think I'm gonna like it because the spread looks cute, and then I always end up reverting back to kind of doing a simple outline for the week. So we shall see how this one goes. Maybe this year's a little different. I don't know. Sorry about any background noise that you hear. My puppy likes to be the center of attention. It doesn't matter what the situation is. So the moment I am not paying attention to her or trying to do a video, especially a voiceover, she likes to make so much noise and beg for attention. But yeah, so she's sitting right now by me, staring at me with her cute little puppy eyes, begging to go on a walk or to play. I have made quite a few mistakes throughout this month's bullet journal spread. I'm not entirely sure what the reasoning behind that is. It's probably because it was late when I was recording it and I was really tired and wasn't super focused. So I decided to leave in majority of the mistakes so that you're able to see that anything is fixable, you know, with some stickers or moving around some washi tape or whatever the case may be. Or, you know, just completely changing the front cover of the month with a different piece of paper because the painting you started off with just did not work. Alright, covering it up with more gold-like stickers. And another thing that I decided to bring back to this month's spread is to do a task list inside my bullet journal, and I like to do a master task list for the month. I like doing lists for myself. Just the checking off is very satisfying feeling knowing that I finished it and accomplished it. So I like to write out my tasks in as many details as possible so I can be as satisfied as possible checking off all the details. For instance, if I have to record a video and edit it and post it and title it and that type of stuff, I would put all of that on there as a checklist. So here is a flip through of the pages. Just fairly simple. Very neutral colored and things like that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We have tons of magical fun here, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!